Dear students, today we are going to discuss about one of the very significant paper in your MA syllabus, that is Theory and Criticism. This is in Master Semester 2 and the name of the paper is Criticism in Theory, Part 1. It's a core paper. You have to appear it. You cannot avoid it. It is not elective. It is not choice. Dear students, today we are going to discuss about P.B. Shelley, A Defense of Poetry. English critical text edited by D.J. Enright and Ernest D. Chiquera, Oxford University Publication, 2001, page 225 to 255. This is what this text is being written in your syllabus. In this way it is written in your syllabus. So you just see this, and this is what this syllabus is there. Now the paper which I am going to discuss is Criticism and Theory, Semester 2, MA English, Delhi University. So this is what the book which is prescribed for our syllabus. This is Indian edition, and D.J. Enright and Ernest D. Chiquera. This is the book which is available on Amazon. You can buy also, especially for this P.B. Shelley's Defense of Poetry, because this is a core paper, so you cannot ignore it. And what we are going to discuss is MA English, Delhi University syllabus, paper 2, paper 1, Criticism and Theory, and semester 2. Now this same, originally this is the text which we see. It is written by P.B. Shelley and Mary Wollstonecraft Shelley. Essays, letters from abroad, translations and fragments. This is what the original text is there. Now let's come. This video is going to be very significant. Don't ignore it. This is going to complete a complete understanding about your text, because you know what I have done? I have given you all the detail, even every single thing we have made it in a bullet point also. So you will see these bullet points are going to help you a lot. The text, this is the text basically, and I have made it in a bullet point. So the same text is being there in a bullet point. It will help you a lot. So don't miss, watch till end and just see. So this is the text prescribed in your syllabus, number 1. Then this is the paper which you have to study, Criticism and Theory, and this is the book which is available on Amazon. And now let's come. A Defense of Poetry is an unfinished essay by P.B. Shelley, written in February and March 1821, and the poet put aside and never completed, because this is incomplete. That text was published posthumously in 1840 in essays, letters from abroad, translations and fragments. This is what this picture I am already giving you. So this was unfinished. This whole book was unfinished, but it was published posthumously immediately after his death. And the publication was also by one of the publisher and Mary Wollstonecraft Shelley. Okay. So now about the detail, who is the writer, who is the publisher. So basically this is the thing written by Shelley to his publisher, and what he is telling about this. The essay was written in response to his friend Thomas Love Peacock's article, The 4 Ages of Poetry, which had been published in 1820. Shelley wrote to publishers Charles and James, who were also his own publishers. So this basically, if you remember, before this previous, I uploaded one video which is of Sidney's Defense of Poetry. So these are the literary theories which are going argument and counter argument. In that we saw that Gosson is there, who is abusing poetry and giving some anti poetry arguments. Here why this defense of poetry by Shelley came in existence, because there is one writer, Thomas Love Peacock. Thomas Love Peacock, in his article, The Four Ages of Poetry, in which he is also giving some kind of counter argument about poetry. So Shelley is going to defend it, and Shelley is giving the all that defense, all the points in the defense of the poetry. So that's why, and we have to remember Charles and James are his publishers, and what he's writing about that. The essay was written in response to his friend Thomas Love Peacock's article The Four Ages of Man, which has been published in 1820. Shelley wrote to his publisher Charles and James, who were also his own publishers. And what he's saying, I am enchanted with your literary miscellany, although the last article has excited my polemical faculties so violently that the moment I get rid of my ophthalmic, I mean to set about an answer to it. And it's very clever, but think very false. So, this is the argument he's giving to Thomas Love Peacock. And then he's determining to write the counter argument against Four Ages of Poetry. What is writing to Shelley? Peacock, your anathemas against poetry itself excited me to a scarcity rage. I had the greatest possible desire to break a lance with you, in honor of my mistress Urania. The text we know, Defense of Poetry, was eventually published 18 years after Shelley's death, after being subjected to some editing by John Hunt and Shelley's wife Mary Shelley. In her essay, Letter from Abroad, Translation and Fragments. So John Hunt is the publisher who is publishing with Shelley. So Mary Shelley. So these are the facts which you need to remember. Okay, and you just come to this page again and see how these informations are there, which you can use for your answer. Shelley's aim to show that poet establish morality and inspire the legal norms in civil society, that creating a foundation for the other institutions of community. Then Robert M. Hutchinson and Mortimer J. Adler wrote, because these are the writers and publishers, those who actually did lot in that interpretation and all. So that's what you have to mention, Robert M. Hutchinson and Mortimer J. Adler also. In A Defense of Poetry, Shelley attempts to provide that poets are philosophers. They are the creators and protector of moral and civil laws, and that if it were not for poets, scientists could not have developed either their theories or their inventions. Poets introduce and maintain morality. The more so created are codified into laws. The social functions or utility of poet is that they create and maintain the norms and mores of a society. So, there is one joke actually. One person came to a woman and said that, people have done so much in science. Men have done so much in science, physics, inventions, space, geology, and everywhere, information technology. So what is your idea about that? And then she said that, all these men are given birth by a woman. So woman cannot be, she's unparalleled. She cannot be equalized with men. So that's how, this is also a kind of, poetry is a mother of knowledge. So we cannot simply say that if somebody is, making some offensive arguments about poetry, we can take it simple. No. So that's how, this is what, this basic idea, what we are going to study in a text. So you please read it again, and rest of the things I'm leaving for your interpretation. Now, David Parkinson wrote, Shelley was mainly concerned to explain the moral and thus the social functions of poetry. In doing so, he produced one of the most penetrating general discussion on poetry that we have. Right, then we come to the major themes. Basically, this is what in the beginning, before we start the essay, actual essay, because we'll start, from here. We will start the actual essay. It's from here. We have to start the actual essay. So before that, it's a kind of introduction we are making. And what is this? So Shelley's Argument for Poetry is an important text published, English Romanticism. In 1858, William Stagnant, a poet, essayist and translator, wrote in his essay Sir Philip Sidney that Shelley's beautifully written Defense of Poetry is a work which analyzes the very inner essence of poetry, and the reason of its existence is development, form and operation on the mind of man. Shelley wrote Defense, and while ethical science arrange the elements which poetry has created and leads to a moral civil life, poetry acts in a way that awakens, the enlarges and mind itself by rendering it with receptacle of thousand unapprehended combinations of thoughts. See, many times I don't speak Hindi. There is a comment student often write, I understand you have a problem, but in our department we don't speak Hindi in the classroom. So, and anyway you have to write it in English. And I'm not speaking very complicated English, so I think you can understand. It's very easy. It's very easy to understand. You repeat, you listen these videos again and again, and you will find it's easy. It's nothing difficult. So A Defense of Poetry argues that inventions of language reveals a human impulse to reproduce the rhythmic and ordered, so that harmony and unity are delighted in wherever they are found and incorporated instinctively into creative activities. Every man in the infancy of art observe an order which approximates more or less closely to that from which highest delight results. This force of approximation enables the observers to experience the beautiful by establishing a relation between the highest pleasure and its causes. Those who possess this faculty in the excess are poets, and their task to communicate the pleasure of the experience to the community. Shelley does not claim language is poetry on the ground that language is the medium of poetry. Language is the rather he recognized in creation of language an adherence to the poetic percept of order, harmony, unity, and desire to express delight in beautiful. Aesthetic admirations of the true and the beautiful is provided with an important social aspect which extend beyond communication and precipitates self-awareness. Poetry and the various modes of art it incorporates are directly involved with social activities of life. Shelley nominated unlikely figures such as Plato and Jesus in their excellent use of language and convince the inconceivable. So that's how these are basic ideas, what we are going to study. So, and this same idea is being given in a bullet point. So what is that? Poetry elevates the human mind. Shelley argues that poetry expands human consciousness by introducing a new and unexpected combination of thoughts, making individuals more receptive and perceptive. Poetry is the source of ethical science, while ethic provides a framework of moral action. Poetry is the foundation upon which the framework is built. Poetry creates the very element that ethical science organizes. Poetry is rooted in the human impulse for order and beauty. The inventions of the language itself demonstrate an inherent human desire of rhythm, harmony and order. This drive to find and express beauty is fundamental to the human experience. और एक चीज़ इसमें मैं बता दूँ आपको कि छोटे बच्चे जब होते हैं ना, बहुत छोटा बच्चा 6 महीने का या थोड़ा बहुत जब बच्चा समझने लगता है, तो हम उसको पोएम्स सुनाते हैं, वो छोटे छोटे बच्चों की जो राइम्स होती है, and you will always realize that they are in a rhythm. This is a simple music. We are not able to make so much sense out of that. So it means, the basic thing which appeals to the human brain. एक 2 साल का छोटा बच्चा, उसको बहुत समझ नहीं होती किसी भी चीज़ की, पर वो उन पोएम्स को सुन के उनको रिस्पॉन्ड करता है, क्लैपिंग करेगा, स्माइल होगा, एंड समटाइम द डांस ऑल्सो. तो बेसिकली पोइट्री एक बेसिक एक इंग्रेडिएंट है हमारे ब्रेन के लिए, so which appeals to that. Beyond all logic, it's a rhythm, and music always appeal to the human mind. So that's what the basic fact is there. And that is why we can never imagine society without poetry. And that's why in the beginning also, if you study the language, if you study human history, and if you study anthropology anywhere, whatever in the beginning traces we find when before even starting of this print or writing or any other form of expression, a music is there, where a simple music is there. So that is why poetry is equal to music, and music always appeals to the human mind. So that's how this is the argument. This is the basic argument. I'm going beyond this literature. It's a kind of simple logic, simple science. So poetry is rooted in human impulse and order and beauty. The invention of language itself demonstrates an inherent human desire for rhythm, harmony, and order. This drive to find and express beauty is fundamental to the human experience. Poet possesses a unique faculty for experiencing beauty. Those with a heightened sensitivity to beauty and strong ability to express it are poets. Their role is to share their unique perception and experience with the world. Poetry transcends mere communication. While language is the medium of poetry, Shelley emphasized that poetry goes beyond the simple communication. It involves a deeper perception for beyond and a desire to evoke profound emotion and insights in order. Poetry plays a crucial role in social and intellectual development by awakening and enlarging the human mind. Poetry contributes significantly to the social progress and intellectual growth. Great thinkers and readers utilize poetic principle. Shelley highlights figures like Plato and Jesus are examples of individuals who employs powerful and imaginative language to convey complex and profound ideas. So for Shelley, poets are not only the authors of language and of music, of dance, and of architecture and statuary and painting. They are institutors of laws and a founder of civil society. Social and linguistic order are not the sole product of the rational faculty, as language is arbitrarily produced by the imagination and reveals the role apprehended relations of thinking and perpetuates their apprehension of the higher beauty and truth. Shelley's conclusive remark that the poets are the unacknowledged legislatures of the world. Please remember this line. It is very significant. Even in the class also I have spoken this many times. Poets are the unacknowledged legislatures of the world. Poets are the unacknowledged legislatures of the world. Poets are the unacknowledged legislatures of the world. Legislatures are elected by the public, but poets are the unacknowledged legislatures of the world. So, suggest its awareness of the profound ambiguity inherent in linguistic means, which he considered at once an instrument of intellectual freedom and vehicle of political and social subjugation. So if you ask me to conclude it, what is that? Poetry elevates the human mind. Poetry, this is one point. It actually makes the human mind much finer and better. Poetry is the source of ethical science. When the moment we talk about ethics and values, and even if the basic principle of science, it all starts with the human mind, and that is the imagination, and that is the poetry. Poetry is rooted in the human impulse for order and beauty. So any human, simplest of the human brain, which I already given you the example of a children, that is, it appeals to the human mind, and it is somewhere an impulse which is already there existing in the human brain structure, the physical as well as the non-physical part of the brain. So poets possess a unique faculty of experiencing beauty. Poetry transcends mere communication. It's not simple communication, it communicates more than that. Poetry plays a crucial role in social and intellectual development. If we are musical, then it gives a lot of pleasure and a comfort to the mind, which ultimately encourage you to do better and do more. So great thinkers and leaders utilize poetic principle. So even if those who want to make their writing and everything appealing, they go for the musical and the poetical form of writing and all. So this is what basically, I am finishing here. We are not going to make this video very long. So you remember how this syllabus is there, semester 1, semester 2, criticism and theory, paper 1. It's a core paper, and this is the text which is prescribed for your syllabus. DJ and Enright and Ernest D. Chiquera. You please see this available on the Amazon. Anyway, see, this video is not sponsored by anybody, so please don't take it from Amazon or anywhere. But this Defense of Poetry, this article is available free on Google, so you can simply download. I did the same. So Defense of Poetry is an unfinished essay. This is the basic information about Defense of Poetry. So you read it again, and this is what the original work, and we find it in a many way. Right now it is available free on Google. So what is this? He's writing to the publisher, then he's writing to Thomas Peacock, because on Peacock's 4 Ages of Poetry, it is the reply, counter reply. Then Robert M. Hutchinson and Mortimer J. Adler, what they write about Defense of Poetry. David Parkins, what it is writing about poetry. And then I have given you the major themes. So I end up my video here only, and we are coming for the next video. I am not going to make this video very long. Come again, share with your friends, and write me some comment. So if you find that some aspect, if it is missing, we can improve. But this is the basic information which you need to write in your answer. Before you write anything about Defense of Poetry, these are the basic things which you need to write it. Thank you so much. God bless you. Do well in your exam.